Welcome to A Leaf to Live. Welcome to my channel. My name is Christina. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, hi there. Little update on what is going on right now. I am currently on holiday in Croatia and I'm just in this apartment right now, just trying to film a video. So I'm very excited because I thought of making a video for you. Obviously it's a bit of a sensitive topic. I understand the topic of travel right now because of the whole situation globally. Still, some countries or some people think that it's okay to travel, but obviously taking the necessary precautions. Other people are still strongly against it and recommend staying at home. I was really conflicted before coming here to Croatia, where I am right now, but ultimately decided to come because I thought it would be okay, and so far I must admit it has been a pretty positive experience, just because I don't normally like to go to the most crowded areas anyway. So far I have been to Trogir, the island of Chiovo and Split, and obviously those places are pretty crowded to begin with, but I feel like perhaps I'm trying to justify myself, but I don't feel like I have been less safe than I would be in the UK right now. So I think that is a positive. But anyway, this is not what the video is about. Obviously, if you intend to travel right now, be very careful. Cover face coverings. If you feel, you know, there's too many people around, obviously, depends on where you are, obviously, but like here, for instance, in Croatia, it is mandatory to wear face coverings in supermarkets and public transportation, and you know, just being sensible around where you are and keeping distance between yourself and people around you. But the video I wanted to make today is something different to that. So for the video today, I wanted to talk about finances while traveling, and I thought that this is a very interesting topic to talk about, especially when you're a budget traveler such as myself, and just little tips that I've learned, especially during the past year. So I'm just going to give you 5 tips that hopefully will help you in your future travels. It doesn't have to be right now, but you know, in the future months or the next year. Tip number 1 would be to take a credit card that doesn't charge any transaction fees. What that means is basically that when you pay with your credit card and a foreign currency in another country, your bank usually charges you extra money to exchange your currency to that of the country you're at, and there's different charges here and there. If you find yourself a debit card that doesn't charge any of these fees, you're good to go, because I traveled to Asia last year without doing enough research about this, and I found that my bank was charging me 1 extra British pound for every single transaction. And if you think about it, that is a lot of money. If you're just using your debit card over and over and over again, just that adds up. And it may not seem like a lot if you are on a very short trip and you're not on budget, but it does make a difference if you're on a budget. So I learned that, and basically what I ended up doing was just withdrawing money from ATMs. But that also came with problems, because with the card that I had at the time, the ATMs used to charge me a lot of money to withdraw cash, so I had to withdraw large amounts of money so it would be worth it. If I remember correctly, when I was in Thailand, it used to be 220 baht for every withdrawal, regardless of how much money you would withdraw each time. So that's around, I believe, 6 British pounds. So it is quite a lot of money if you're withdrawing very, very frequently. If you get a card that you can just pay with that doesn't have as many fees, then you're good to go. So for me particularly, I've been using Monzo for the past few months and it's been going amazing. I use it here in Croatia, and you know, I think it charges me like 3p extra just because of the conversion rate, but that is nothing in comparison to like £1 whole. So yes, that would be tip number 1. I know other types of cards, like I've heard of TransferWise and Curve, but I have not used them, so I cannot vouch for them. But I would really recommend you to do your own research about it and find which one is more suited for your own needs. Tip number 2 would be to take 2 band cards or more when you're traveling, because you never know what might happen. I know this might seem like such a normal idea, like common sense, but believe me, I didn't know that last year, and I learned it the hard way again, because when I was traveling in Southeast Asia, well, on my second week of my 2-month solo trip, I went to withdraw money from an ATM and the machine swallowed my card. So I freaked out and I was like, oh no, what do I do now? Like, I panicked completely, but I was really lucky and I got people who were there to help me, and eventually I got the card out. But it was a big fright that I got, and I learned that, you know, from now on I take 2 or more cards with me, and that's gone very well. Another tip that is like a sub tip is basically when you're paying in a foreign country with a debit card, always try to pay with the currency of the country that you're in. And the third tip that I would give you is when you arrive to a new country, you may be tempted to, you know, go to the airport where you arrive and directly exchange money there into the currency of the country that you have arrived at. But that is a big mistake in my opinion, because currency exchange bureaus in airports tend to give you the worst rates possible. And from my experience, I find it that once you get to the city center or the town center of the place that you're visiting, you are way more likely to receive better rates and therefore get more of your money's worth from that exchange. So what I would recommend would be to exchange the minimum amount of money when you arrive at the airport. So for instance, enough money to pay for the mode of transportation that you're using to get to your accommodation, like bus, taxi, metro, whatever. Or maybe also a little bit extra if you want to have dinner that night, and a little extra expenses until you can go into the city center the next day, for instance, or that evening, and get a better rate. Obviously that is taking into consideration that you will have those places to exchange money later on. If you are going on the strip into the middle of nowhere and you get to the airport and you're directly going to a very rural area and it's not possible for you to make this exchange elsewhere, then obviously you have no other choice, do it at the airport. Although there may be other places that are better, maybe exchanging money beforehand in the country that you're flying from, that could be an option as well. Another tip that would be tip number 4 is to compare. I think that you can never go wrong. Obviously, if you're on holiday, you want to enjoy your time. You don't want to spend so much time comparing every single price, but I think it's good practice. Obviously not spend the whole day looking for the best deal, but if you go to one exchange bureau and another one and see, oh, okay, this one gives a little bit better price, then why not go to that one, right? It can be for exchange rates, or it can be for bus tickets. For instance, when I was in Asia last year, if you were at the hostel, some bus tickets would be more expensive than if you bought the tickets directly at the bus station. Little things like that. It depends, obviously, like sometimes it's the same price, sometimes it's even better, they have deals here and there. That's why it's important to compare. And the tip number 5 for me is wearing a money belt. I know this is not directly related to finances as such, but you know, finding a safe way to carry your money when you're traveling is to wear a money belt. It's basically a belt like those like fanny packs, but like one that lays flat on your body. You cover over with your clothes so it doesn't look suspicious or anything. It just looks like you've got nothing on you. And then not putting all of your important stuff in the one place, so don't put all of your stuff there. Also try and like diversify and put maybe some money stashed within, like in your socks, or some other money in your day pack and things like that. So those are the 5 tips that I have for you today. I hope you found some of them useful, and hopefully you can apply them on your next trip. Most importantly, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Well, hello, and welcome. Hi there, welcome to my channel. This is A Leaf to Live.